Today on Through the Numbers, we're going to be going over our best bets for Game 2 of the WNBA semifinals. Quick recap from last video, we went 3-3, not the best, but a couple of things I want to address about those picks. So first, I'll take full responsibility for the Chelsea Gray play. That was a total misread on my part. I thought what I saw from the previous games in Seattle is maybe this is her returning to form. Man, was I wrong, because she did not show up at all in that game against the Liberty. We saw this kind of inconsistent version that we've been seeing all year of Chelsea Gray, unfortunately. Now on the Collier and the Alyssa Thomas bets, I think we had the right idea still, okay? Collier went over a rebound line by just one, and if you saw that rebound, it was basically, I think it was Marina Mabry, had to toss up a random off-balance three because the shot clock was running out and just threw it straight into Collier's arms, nowhere near the basket, hardly even a board. And, the buzzer rang before she even caught it too. So I don't know how that works. But anyways, that was the board that did us in. And as for Alyssa Thomas, she went under by one assist, and there were a few plays down the stretch there where she could have got that assist, but her teammates couldn't finish it. And then there were a couple of times where they were just letting her drive to the basket, so she couldn't make a pass out. So she took those shots and she scored. I still think those were the right reads. And then on the bright side, to how we sort of evened out, was Asia went under as we expected. The Liberty double teamed her a lot and just said, hey, we're going to force anyone else to beat us, anyone but Asia. And that seemed to work for them as they cooked in that game. And then, we cashed the Sun plus 4.5. Somehow that game has opened up at 5.5 again. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then, of course, for the third straight time, we cashed Bridget Carleton over 13.5 points and rebounds. We won't be doing that again this time because that's bumped up to 15.5, and I'm not sure we want to go there. But again, that's something we'll talk about a little bit differently. So don't worry. We've got more value plays to dive into for Tuesday night's game 2s. All right, so let's start with the 7:30 matchup between the Aces and the Liberty. All right, jumping into outlier.bet, we're going to start with a strong lean I have here, and that is Jackie Young over 1.5 3-pointers. So an initial glance, this doesn't look too promising. She's only gone over in 4 of her last 10, 3 of her last 5, if that's the way you want to frame it, but that's not really how we're going to look at it here. The reason why I like this bet specifically is because of the head-to-head numbers. Now, in the head-to-head, in the last 2 seasons, she has only not got at least 2 3-pointers against the Liberty twice. So, kind of what I was saying, I think the Liberty are going to go with the same approach, and they're going to try and force anyone else to beat them other than Asia, which means you're going to get open shots from 3-point for players like Jackie Young. And the one thing that is promising about this last game is she did take 7 attempts from 3. She's averaging 5.8 in her games against the Liberty, which not the greatest, but if she's going to put up 6 or 7, I like those odds for her to get 2. She's a decent enough shooter that she should be able to get that. She really hasn't been putting it up over her last 10. She had such a strong sort of middle to this season, and then she's totally fallen off. So that's why this is just a strong lean. But like I said, it's really hard to ignore those head-to-head matchups there. So this is one to consider for sure. All right, so let's move on to the next play, and we're going to be sticking with a similar theme for this one. So we're going to be looking at Kelsey Plum over 17.5 points in this one. Like I said, we're going with the theme that the Liberty are going to make anyone but Asia put up points in this one. And with the way Chelsea Gray and Jackie Young have been playing, that is going to fall heavily on Kelsey Plum. So we look at her numbers here, and as you can see, she's gone over in 6 of her last 10, which is a promising start here. Over these 3 playoff games, she's averaging around 33 minutes. And if we look at the head-to-head, she's gone over in 8 of 13. She's gone over in 6 of her last 8, which is a really good sign. She's gone way over. You might even want to ladder this up to 20 if you really like it too. 25 if you're really frisky, depending on what the odds are for that. But if she's averaging 33 minutes, let's see how she does when she plays at least 33 minutes. So when she plays at least 33 minutes against the Liberty, she's gone over in 5 of 7. So that is a pretty good sign there. And then also, if you look at her last 10, she's gone over in 7 of 10, 5 straight when she's played at least 33 minutes. That's a very promising sign right there too. And on the season, she's gone over 65% of games when she's played at least 33 minutes. So I bet this at 16.5, but I still like it at 17.5. Let's go with Kelsey Plum over 17.5 points in this one. All right, now we're going to move on to the late game between the Connecticut Sun and the Minnesota Lynx. The first thing we're going to look at is we're going to hop back into Outlier. We're going to look at the Connecticut Sun +5. Now, if you watched the last video, we bet the Sun +4.5. And I kind of look at it the exact same way in this one. I know the books are really expecting Minnesota to bounce back here. And I get it. I get why. Things are definitely aligning for that. It's just when I look at the numbers, the way I see it, I'm not willing to go against the trend here. And the trend is, if you look at the head-to-head matchup between these two teams, the Sun have just owned Minnesota. They owned them in the playoffs this year. They owned them in game 1, and they've owned them throughout this season. The Lynx haven't beat them by 5 points once this season, once in 2024. They haven't done it. And, you know, they didn't do it in the last game at 4.5, and I don't think they're going to do it here at 5. I think the Lynx could win the game, but I don't think they're going to cover. So I really like, again, I think nothing has changed injury-wise. Ty Harris is still likely out, but that didn't affect my confidence in game 1. So the Sun have now covered this in 10 of their last 11 meetings with the Lynx, including all 4 matchups and the 1 playoff game, which also includes the 1 playoff game, I should say. And again, it's what I went to last time, is I think the playoff experience is really what's going to factor in here. And the fact that I think at a certain point, maybe the Sun are kind of in the Lynx head right now. You know, the Lynx did win one of the games they played this year, but again, they barely won that game. And sure, Minnesota shot very poorly in this game, but it seems that Connecticut just kind of figured them out defensively, and this is just a bad matchup for the Lynx. So I'm putting my money on Connecticut again to cover the spread. I don't know if they necessarily win the game, but I think they can cover the 5 points again. So let's roll with it. All right, so next we're going to be looking at my favorite play of the day. All right, so we're going to be looking at DiJonai Carrington to go over 16.5 points and rebounds. Now here's why I like this play. On first glance, she's gone over in 7 of her last 10, which is something I really like to see, obviously. So secondly, if you look at the playoff games, 33.8, 25.2, 40 points in the last game. So she's averaging around 33 minutes per game. So let's see what happens when we bump her minutes up to 33. And this is why I really like this play, is when you bump her up to 33 minutes. If she's going to play at least 33, she's gone over in 10 of 10. 10 of her last 10. And she's also gone over in 3 of 3 matchups, all from this season when she's played at least 33 minutes against the Lynx. Even without the minutes, let's remove the minutes for a second. Just hold on. Jesus. So even without it, she's gone over in 3 straight against them. And she'll probably continue to get minutes if both, I think, yeah, Ty Harris is a game time decision. So even if she does come back, she still might be limited. So that will increase DiJonai's minutes. And then Tiffany Mitchell is still expected to be out. So again, this looks good for her minutes to be up in the 33 range like we expect again. So yeah, I'm gonna put my money on this. I'm banking on DiJonai Carrington over 16.5 points and rebounds. But we're not done yet with DiJonai in this one. We are going to also look at her points prop in this one. So let's hop back in the outlier. All right, so not as impressive as the points and rebounds. She's only gone over in 6 out of 10. But if we look at this, similar kind of idea in this one. Let's see what it looks like when we bump her minutes up to 33. And it's the same thing. It's when she plays at least 33 minutes, she's gone over 10 of 10. She's gone over 11.5 points. Head-to-head matchup, again, she went over in the last game. She went over in the game before. She's gone over in 3 straight. And all 3 of those games, she played at least 33 minutes against the Lynx. So a quick and easy decision for me. You know, some people maybe don't want to put all their eggs in the DiJonai basket, and I get it. I put a lot more on the points and rebounds just because I think she has a better chance of getting the combined over. But I also really like this one, and I bet this. I put about a half unit on that. So if you're with it too, let's bet DiJonai Carrington over 11.5 points as well. All right, last but certainly not least, we're going to go back to my girl, the Canadian Bridget Carleton. Because we don't have her points and rebounds at the line that we like anymore, we're going to look at her points over 11.5 because I still think she can get this. As you can see, she's gone over in 7 of her last 10. If you look to the head-to-head matchup, she's gone over in 3 straight, and she's gone over in 4 of her last 5 against against the Connecticut Sun. The other reason why I like this is she's averaging around 36 minutes in the playoffs. So let's see where she's at when we bump her up to 34. How about that? Just in case she gets a little less. And we bump her up to 34. She's gone over in 8 of her last 10. So that looks even better for us. And again, in the head-to-head matchup, she's gone over in both games she's played where she's averaged at least 34 minutes. So I feel pretty comfortable with this one. We can't get the points and rebounds like we've been smashing at 13.5 because I think it's up to 15.5 now. But I think she can still go over on the points. So we're gonna bet Bridget Carleton over 11.5 points. All right, that about wraps it up for our best bets for Game 2 of the WNBA semifinals. If you learned anything new or found any value with these picks, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, all that stuff that supports the channel. It's really appreciated. Also, let us know in the comments if you're rolling with any of these picks or if any of the other plays that you're liking or that you're eyeing. Let us know, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Other than that, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.